Alright, g'day everyone. In this video we're going to be looking at how to get started doing a basic bank reconciliation in Xero and just learning some of the functionality around it. So in here I've gone into the demo company, which is available to all subscribers, and we're just going to have a bit of a play around in here. So first up I'm going to take you to the bank rec summary. So I'll go accounting, reports, scroll down to accounting, bank reconciliation summary here. So this is basically the end point of where we're going to go, but I'm going to show you it now just to show you how it changes from when we start to when we finish up. So we'll look at the business bank account, the main account, and you've also got the business savings account here. We'll reconcile to the 5th of Feb. And this is showing everything here. So in the top section here we got outstanding payments. These are things that have been entered into Xero. So a payment here, that's an item, an invoice or a bill that's been marked as paid inside the invoice register. And down here, see, this doesn't have payment next to it like these ones do. This would be a spend money or a receive money. Spend money in this case being a payment. We scroll down, these are unreconciled statement lines. So this is everything that is not reconciled when we go into the main bank rec screen. And then down the bottom here is our bank balance. So I'll leave this window open and we'll start a new screen. Go back to the dashboard and let's have a look at the bank rec. So basically you'll start off in here where it says reconcile. And here we go. See these green items on the right here, the system's already matched up some payments or potential payments, and anything underneath we have to deal with basically. Matches here, where the system has already matched something, where it's highlighted green, and then we've got 4 other options. Create is where we want to do a spend money or receive money. If we're entering, say, off a receipt or a direct debit, something that isn't going through as a bill or an invoice through the register. We have transfer, which is to transfer money to a linked account. We have discuss, which is where we want to basically put down some notes. Maybe it's something we have to follow up. We're not quite ready to close it off yet, but we'll come back to it. And find and match is to match a payment to an invoice or a bill. So here we've got one from Ridgeway University. We've got some, looks like an invoice number here. You can always click on more details and see what else you can find out. And how it's matched here, it looks like it's matched up to an invoice from the 26th of Jan. So let's go have a look at the invoice register and you'll see what I'm talking about. Business, invoices. We're going to go awaiting payment. So this is a list of all the invoices that haven't been marked as paid in the system. So we've got this code here. Let's copy that and we might do a search. And there we go. See this here, Ridgeway University 1025. This is what it's matching up to here. So we can go in and have a look at that. This is the invoice here. So it hasn't been marked as paid in the system, probably because we didn't receive remittance, so we haven't done it that way. Because there's two ways you can match off an invoice. You can do it manually down the bottom here, or you can do it as you go in the bank reconciliation. So we're confident that it's this one here, 1025, so we're going to click OK. And now that's gone from the list, that's been reconciled. Next one down, this is a payment. Payment of a bill. So there would have been a bill, let's go have a look. Business, bills to pay. I won't go awaiting payment because this was already marked as paid where it says payment there. So we're going to have a look at all. And we're going to do a search for the dollar amount, $1181.25. On the 30th of Jan. So $1181.25 went out on the 30th of Jan. And this looks like it here, so it's for rent. And payment, it was marked as paid on the 31st of Jan, down the bottom, like we saw on the previous example. So they've actually marked it as paid for the day after the money actually went out. So not technically correct, but close enough for the example. So we know that we're happy that's that, so we're going to click OK. Now this one here, we got $4,500 going out, and we've got a couple of numbers here, and they look like invoice numbers. So what I'm going to do, and it looks like they may have paid two invoices in one go. So we're going to go find and match and see if we can match it up. And when we go find and match, it brings up a list of payments and unpaid bills. Same as, you can see Smart Agency there. Same as in here, in the bill register, the payables. So if we click on bills to pay, there's a few here. Can't see the Smart Agency. So we might have a look at all. And what we'll do, we'll have a search on one of these invoice numbers. 70135. Awaiting payment, Smart Agency. Alright, so there we go. So here we've got a list of awaiting payments, bills that haven't been paid, and that's pretty much what we're looking at here, plus payments that have been processed. So we're going to try and pick up this 70135, see if it's in there. So we can search up here by name, reference, which is the invoice number or amount. So we're going to go 70135. There it is, $2,000, but the payment was for $4,500. And this will make up the other one, the 70209. So we think it's this one. We think that's one of them, so we're going to tick that. And now we're going to search for the other one, 70209. And there it is, and that's for $2,500. And then if we click that, see it highlights green, 2 transactions selected. We got them both down here, 70135, 70209, 70135, 70209. So you can either click OK here, or you can click down here, reconcile. Now this is the discuss tab I was talking about before. I didn't enter this. This is actually the example file from Xero, and this is how they've set it up. So what does it say? This is for an old invoice, did not know how to code it. Okay, so City Limousines 1002 part. So it sounds like a part payment. So let's go have a look for City Limousines 1002 in the invoice register, and I might just open that up as a new tab. So we're looking for 1002. There it is, City Limousines, 1002, awaiting payment. 850 has already been paid, 250 is due. And how much came in? 100 came in, so they're paying in small installments. And if you click into the invoice, you can see a bit more detail. 850 was paid on the 25th of November. So we're going to apply this as a part payment. So we go find and match, 1002. There it is, 1002, City Limousines, 250 owing. But only 100 came in. So we'll click on the bill here, and if you scroll down, you'll see that it's out by $150. Now what we've got to do in this case, because it's a part payment, only 100's been paid on 250 owing, we've got to split it. So the part payment is going to be 100, the remaining amount will be 150. Split that. Okay, that's done. And then if we go back to that invoice here, we'll refresh it, and you'll see that $100 come up down here. There it is. So you got 2 payments and 150 owing still. All right, moving along. Jacaranda Maple Systems. So for this one, we're not too sure about this. It says it's a deposit or an advance. So we'll have a quick search. Nothing here. And I was having a bit of a look around this file before, and I don't believe this invoice has actually been entered. So in this case, when no invoice has been entered, we can either enter the invoice here, enter a new invoice. So we'd go back to the invoices main screen and go new invoice and start it off there. Or maybe you need to talk to the sales department or whoever does the invoicing and find out what the situation is with this. Maybe they're not ready to invoice it. So you might, put a note in here, not ready to be invoiced per sales department on the 7th of Feb 21. And save that. And then you could come back to it. Or another option you could do, you can see it's a deposit. So you could type in here, Jacaranda. You'd have to enter a new contact, Jacaranda Maple Systems. And you could put it to the deposit account here. And then enter that. But then you would just have to be mindful that when you do process the invoice, you will need to apply this $2,000 deposit to come off that invoice before you send it out to the customer. You wouldn't do a create entry to an income account, for instance, going straight to sales here, because then it wouldn't go through the sales register, and you want to be consistent. It looks like it's a payment from a customer, so you want to be putting that through your sales register. But if it was something like just bank interest income, something that you don't invoice for, that's when you would use create and then go direct here to interest. But in this instance, we'll leave it as the discussed item here, not ready to be invoiced per the sales department, and we can come back to that and match the 2,000 off against the invoice once the invoice has been raised. Now underneath here we've got bank fees, $15, contact is bank. So you could have bank, or you could have your contact as NAB, which would be, probably the technical correct way to do it, but it doesn't really matter for something like bank fees. It's not that important. You got bank fees here, description, So this line here is what will show up when you run any kind of transaction reports. GST free. We've got here some job coding, east, north, south, west coast. That would be more for your sales and perhaps some expenses that you want to run to your sales. But that's probably a topic for a different video. So we won't worry about that for here. We'll just put the bank fees, GST free, done. Cooper Street Bakery. All right, so this is, just say this is something that hasn't been billed to us. Probably not, it's only $15.75. We probably walked in and paid with FPOS. So you can enter a new contact there. You don't have to enter a new contact for every single little supplier. I mean, definitely for your main ones. If it's something like you're just going down, I don't know, to like a little shop on the corner you might never go to again, you might just put it to miscellaneous. Let's just say it's some staff amenities, or maybe you bought some breakfast for the team or something like that. There was no GST on it. Okay. Now here we've got a bank rule. It says apply rule 711, 1550, and the thing, this is a function that you can use to automate reoccurring transactions, stuff that comes up all the time, to really speed up the bank rec process, and that is something that Xero is very good at, is automation. So we'll have a look at the bank rule. You could just go okay, but let's just go have a look at it. So we'll go, or you can choose to not apply and then use, you know, your tabs up here. But let's have a look at what the rule is and how it's set up. Okay, so we got spend money rule containing 11, and it's going down miscellaneous corner store, office expenses. Oh, I don't know if it's really office expenses. I'm going to change that to amenities. 7-Eleven, most of their stuff would have GST, but you've got to be careful with this as well. So this is just applying a blanket GST on everything, but that won't always be the case. And Xero will prompt you to do certain things. For instance, down here, because we did that transaction before, and there was another one, and we've done it before, and the system remembered, so it's prompting us here. But maybe this time there was something that did have GST, so we need to be careful with the coding here and so forth. Just give it a sense check before you click OK, because that can be a bit of a trap. You just start going down clicking OK, but it might not necessarily be the case. But 7-Eleven, we're happy with that. Cooper Street Bakery, yeah, it's just like some little bit of bread or something, and let's say there's no GST, so we're happy with that. MSO cleaning, these people might come by and do some cleaning every month or whatever. Maybe it's a direct debit thing, so it's not on the invoice register, so we're going to do it through a spend money, MSO cleaning services. So when you start typing a contact, if there's an existing contact, it'll pop up. Account, we can start typing cleaning. GST on expenses. Okay. Now I probably should have put a description in that one above. You know, I was a bit lazy there, but yeah, for the point of the exercise, that's how it works. Gateway Motors. Now there was a payment on the 1st of Feb, and this is the 1st of Feb over here, so we're happy with that. So this would be a payment against a bill. We can even have a quick look. What was it? 411.35. And that's it there. 411.35. Already been processed through the bills section. So we're going to click OK. Now, eBank deposit. There's no information here as to what invoice it might have been for or whatever it may be. So we're going to put a discuss here. Not sure. Follow up with sales. And you might even, you know, put your initials in here, or, you know, so you can see, because anyone can come in here and write stuff. So, you know, at least this way, if my initials were JY, we can see that I was the one that wrote it. And then someone else can come in, and even the sales department could come in and say, this is for invoice, you know, whatever, or this hasn't been invoiced yet. And you can sort of, you know, work your way through between yourselves like that. Central City Parking. Let's see if they've got a contact. No. Yeah, you know, you might not want to type in a contact for every different parking place you go to, so you might just put in a generic parking, or you might just go miscellaneous. So look, we'll just go miscellaneous, because technically putting parking in, that's an account name, not a contact name. Parking and tolls, GST on expenses, okay. Now here we have a transfer to savings. 1st of Feb. Now this looks like it's a transfer to the other bank account. So what I might do is open up another tab, and we'll go have a look at the other bank account. So you can click up here once it's ready and finished loading. Business savings account. You can see 1,000 came in on the 1st of Feb to the savings account. 1,000 went out on the 1st of Feb from the business bank account. So we're confident that's a transfer. We're going to go transfer, business savings account. It's only given us one option because there's only one other account. We'll go OK. You don't need to process it again on the other side from the savings account. All you got to do is go back here. So you could go transfer and do it again, but that will create a duplicate. All you need to do is refresh. And there you go. It's got it. So Central City Parking again. So miscellaneous parking. And, you know, to do it, you know, the proper way, we'd probably put parking in here as well, so it shows up everything on as much information as we need on reports. Parkside kiosk. This is probably just a miscellaneous, and let's just say it's amenities with GST. Done. Central sitting parking. So if we refresh this, let's see if the machine learning starts working for this 3rd of Feb on the $12 on the 3rd of Feb. There we go. See, it's prompting us. It knows because we've done it before for this contact. So we're going to go OK. ACL conferences. So there's been a payment to them. We don't know what it's for. There's no bill in the system. Try and find an account. So what you can do, you can scroll through expenses. You got it all here, like so. Or you can search. I'm looking if there's anything for professional development. Or training, and let's just say it's professional development, but we don't have an applicable accounting code for that in the chart of accounts. So what we're going to do is we're going to go create a new account. Accounting. Chart of accounts. We'll have a look at expenses, and they all generally start with 4. So we're going to create a new account. Expense 489, see if that's available. No, that's taken. 493, taken. 496, available. Very good. Let's just say this is professional development. GST on expenses. Now, we won't be able to pick up that account here until we refresh this screen, because this screen was from before we did the update. All right, ACL. New contact, professional development. There it is. GST on expenses, and we'll just say conference. Parking. The machine learning has prompted us to pick that up as a little bit of automation there, so we'll go with that. Parkside kiosk, yeah, we've done that one before. White cools. Not sure what this one is. We'll just we'll just make it up, and we'll just say that these guys are an advertising company. GST on expenses, and we'll just say advertising for new product. Another deposit. So we'll put in something like this again that we're not sure. We're going to follow up with sales as a discuss item, and we'll come back to it once we know what it's for. Majestic contracting. All right. So this is a sublet. So let's put it to, say, maybe we own a factory and we sublet some of the space out, and it doesn't go through the invoice register in this case. Let's have a look. So it's probably not sales, that'd be your core sales. It's not interest income. You might want to set up a new account here for sublet rents, but in this case, we'll just put it to other revenue. Commercial rent, GST on income. Okay, Wilson. Okay, now I created a account for this before for reference material. GST on expenses. New world. Okay, let's just say that these guys are a consulting company. Pretty cheap consultants, $34.60, but let's just say, just say, I don't know, we'll just put consulting. More parking, happy with that. Bank fees, GST free, happy with that. Another deposit, we're going to have to follow this up because we don't know what that's for. 7-Eleven, the bank rule, we're happy with that. We looked at one of them before and we put that to amenities. Okay, so that's it for this page. There's a few items to follow up. We'll go over to the next page. Oh, well, that's actually it. So if we go over now to where we started, the bank rec summary, we add all this stuff here. We're going to do a refresh and it'll be a lot shorter, this list here. There you go. All right. Okay. So what we've got here, really these are the 4 items. I'll show you. These are the 4 items that we have to follow up with sales. These 4 here. Now here we've got some outstanding payments. This is when a payment has been marked. Well, this one here is a payment that's been processed against a bill. So it's been marked as paid in the system, but it hasn't been matched off in the bank rec. Now, we've done the reconciliation at the 5th of Feb, because that's when the last transaction was. So there could be a good reason for this. This was only the day before, so it potentially may not have cleared the bank yet. So we'll probably just leave that be, and it should clear out in a couple of days. If that isn't the case, that means that this is probably a duplicate, and that we accidentally processed a spend money transaction against this amount instead of picking up the bill through the invoice register. So you've got to be careful of that. That's one thing. And Melrose Parking, this is a spend money. So it's just been an invoice has come in, or a receipt rather. A receipt has come in and you've processed a spend money like so. So you go manage account, spend money. You've got the receipt in your hand, and you type it in here. Parking. Whatever it is, I think it's, what was it for? 148.50. And parking. And save. So that's what happened there to make this transaction here. But that hasn't cleared as well. Now, it was only 2 days before the reconciliation date, being on the 5th of Feb, so it's possible that hasn't cleared the bank yet as well. Maybe it's a weekend, maybe it's just a bit slow for whatever reason. So we'll probably leave that, because these being quite close to the end of the reconciliation date as the 5th of Feb, these could well clear in the coming days. If they were a bit older, I'd start looking at why they're still here, uncleared. But that's what that is there. And then, now as I mentioned before, this is just a sort of a like a play file, a demo file from Xero that you can get in and have a bit of a play around with the functionality in. This here, how it's got the balance out by, that means you've got a problem with your what's been imported into the system versus the bank feed to what the bank balance actually is. So what you should do when you're done, you should check this balance against the actual bank statement. You can log in or check your paper statement, and they should match. And this would normally, when things are going the way it's supposed to be, this line wouldn't be here. The balance wouldn't be out. It would be matching. But because this is only a demo file, that's probably why this is here. But if this is here, it would, I'd reckon it either be a duplicate bank feed item, which can happen but doesn't happen often, or something has gone wrong. Someone's imported a transaction, or someone has done a forced user entry, or something to do with the bank statement lines in Xero not matching the real bank statement. So you'd have to troubleshoot that. All right, so going back to the dashboard, you can see the 4 ready to be done, savings accounts done, and that's pretty much it guys. So just a basic look at how the different functions work within Xero. There's a few different angles to come at it depending on what you want. If you're just matching off invoices through the bank rec, but maybe you've already paid something but it hasn't cleared, that might mean that your age payables and age receivables reports won't be up to date. But if you're matching payments off through the invoice register, that means your age payables, age receivables are going to be up to date, but it might not have flowed through to the bank rec yet, because it always comes through the following day. So it sort of depends how you want to tackle this, depending on what reports you want to run, depending on how you want to do it. But a nice easy way to do it is just to sort of do it through the bank rec. But always make sure you go back to your bank rec summary and just check and make sure everything is cleared, because if you don't do that step, you're really not getting the full picture, or you won't know if there's something wrong. So that's it guys. If you have any questions, let me know, and see you in the next one.